season. Amen. Amen. Hello. Hello. Tosin Ayaulat. Thank you for joining. Welcome for those who are joining already. Thank you for coming around. Thank you for joining me again today. Thank you for joining. Thank you for those who have been joining my live video in our live Facebook in the last few weeks. Thank you, and thank you for coming around again today. We are going to be talking about a very important topic that's going to be very beneficial to many people again today. Thank you for stopping by. One of the reasons why I do this Facebook Live is to give information, to share opportunities to many people out there, because sometimes just knowing that having information about an opportunity may be the difference between benefiting from such opportunity or otherwise. So just having information already is the first step towards taking advantage of opportunities here and there. So thank you once again for stopping by my video today. Last week, Sunday, I spoke about studying tuition free in Germany, and many people out there may not know that there is a possibility to study tuition free in Germany. So I talked a lot about it. If you were not on my Facebook Live last week, the video is still on my page. Kindly watch it. I gave a lot of information about how it's possible to study completely tuition free, as in zero tuition in Germany. And Germany is one of the best places to live or to study in the world. So imagine one is able to study tuition free in Germany, and it's a very, very good one. Please, if you can hear me loud and clear, kindly drop a comment. Let me know you are hearing me clearly. I just want to be sure everybody can hear me clearly. Kindly drop a comment. Let me know you are hearing me clearly. We appreciate that. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you. Kindly also share this video so that many other people can see it and benefit from the information I will be sharing today. Kindly share it on your page. Kindly share the video as much as possible so that many other people can also benefit from the information I will be sharing. Okay, thank you, Tayo. I can see that you can hear me clearly. Thank you. All right, thank you. Okay, so today I'll be talking about comparing studying in America and study in Europe. Many people maybe know a little about America, or know a little about Europe, know a little about maybe one country in Europe, or here and there. Most time people don't have much information about different places, different options, and being able to compare those options to know, okay, which place would be the best for them. So I'm going to be talking extensively, as much as I can within the limited time I have today, about studying in America and studying in Europe. Yeah, I will focus more on I'll pay more additional particular attention to studying at master's level. Yes, many of the things I will be talking about are applicable at undergraduate level, master's level, PhD level, but I will go into more specificity about studying at master's level for in America or in Europe, comparing them. What are the differences? What are the similarities? What advantage does one have over the other one? If you are looking for opportunity to study abroad, what are the things you should consider to decide whether you should be opting for America or you should be opting for a country in Europe? Thank you, Yusuf Reilwan, for stopping by. I see that you say you can hear me clearly. Thank you very much. So these are some of the information I will be giving today, because knowing the difference, the advantage that one has over the other, the similarities one has over the other can help to make the right decision in focusing your efforts, your energy in which place will be the best for you, depending on your goals, what you want to achieve, your plans. I know for many Nigerians, one of the reasons why they want to study abroad is to ultimately have the opportunity to relocate. So one of the things I'll be talking about is comparing Europe and America. Which one will give you a better chance of permanent relocation, permanent residency, or a path to citizenship in the long run, maybe after your study? Which place will it be easy for you to work as a student while you are studying? Which place will be cheaper or easier? Which place will be more family friendly? As in, when I say family friendly, maybe when you are going to study, if you're a married person and you want your family, either your wife or your husband, to go with you and your kids to go with you, between America and Europe, which one will be easier for you to go with your family? So these are some of the things I'll be talking about. What about the admission process itself? The admission process itself. What are the differences between the admission process in America and Europe? Which one is easier? Which one, then you can compare which one will be easier for which one will be the best option for you. When it comes to finances, which one is cheaper? Which one is more expensive? When it comes to scholarship opportunity between Europe and America, where do you have better chances of getting a scholarship or lesser chance of getting a scholarship? These are different things I'll be talking about. Working as a student and the requirement for GRE, IELTS or TOEFL, which one, comparing Europe and America, which one will be more challenging? Visa application, what about visa application? I'll be talking about comparing visa application process for studying in America and studying in Europe. I will be referring to some specific countries in the process, especially for Europe. So when I'm talking about Europe, I'm talking about the countries mainly the countries in the European Union, not primarily, with the exception of Britain. So when I'm talking about UK, with the exception of UK, when I'm talking about Europe, I'm talking about many of the countries that are in the European Union, okay? We're talking about Germany, Netherlands, Finland, Denmark, Belgium, France, and many of them, about 28 of them. Okay, I may likely make some particular reference to UK, to the peculiarities about studying in UK along the line. Okay, but my primary focus today will be to compare most of the countries in Europe and with America. The application process, studying there, working during study, staying back, the visa application, the proof of fund. Yeah, that is also a very important aspect of it. Scholarship opportunities. What are the chances of your family member going with you, accompanying you there? Because these are important questions that people always ask me. Almost every day, somebody is asking me, okay, if I'm going to study in America, if I'm going to study in Germany or Netherlands, will my family be allowed to follow me? So these are important questions for people that are married or people that are planning to marry soon. Okay, so they want to know if you are going to study for the next 2 years or 2.5 years somewhere, you want to be sure whether it's you have the opportunity of going with your partner, with your wife, with your husband, or with your children, or with your kid. So these are important things we need to talk about. Getting citizenship. For many people too, studying is just a means to an end, not an end in itself. So for many people, studying is just for an opportunity to move to maybe a Western country where they can work a long time, where they can have permanent residency, or where they can also ultimately get a citizenship. So for these people, it's important to also know which country or which of these two places we want to compare will give you the opportunity, or will give you the greater chance or the easier chance of achieving permanent residency and or achieving citizenship. So, and if you have questions as I'm talking, please kindly feel free to drop them in the comments so that I can be addressing them. I don't want to just to talk about what I think in my mind. You probably have questions, things you want to clarify about these places. Drop them in the comment. As I'm seeing the comment, I will be addressing the issues as you have your question. So let's start with the application process itself. Applying to study in America and applying to study in Europe. Okay, basically, generally, either in Europe or in America, most of the time, Most of the time, and in most countries, applications are usually done around, usually start around period of October, November, December for the following year. Okay, for instance, now for people that want to study in 2022, in most countries, most Western countries, let me put it that way, application for those who will resume in the school next year, that means 2022, will usually start around October, November, December of 2021. Most universities open their application process around this period. So you need to first of all know the time the application usually open in most cases. Okay, there may be exceptions here and there from one school to the other, few countries here and there, but on a general note, most application open around October, November, December. So if you are planning to study, to go to Europe or to go to America to study next year, you can start targeting that your application period, start planning to start application around October or November this year towards studying next year. So it's good to have this behind your mind so that if there is documents you need to get ready, you can start getting them ready. If you need to get your transcripts, you need to get it ready. If you need to get your certificates, you need to get it ready. If you need to check for the programs you want to apply for so that you know the requirements, you can check for the programs you want to apply for. The good thing is that you can always see information about application requirements even when it's not the application period. On the website of most universities, almost all universities always have the application requirements on their website around the year. It's only that they may just say application is not open at this time, and maybe when it's opening, they want to change little thing here and there. Usually, they don't overhaul the application requirement. It's not like all the requirements for last year will be totally different from this year. It's very, very unlikely. Most of the time, it will be the same thing, but few occasions, maybe one little change here and there, one addition, one subtraction here and there will be there. So what I'm saying in essence is that you can check long ahead of time to have a good idea of what the application requirements will be for the program you want to study next year. So it's usually good to start preparing on time. Thank you, my friend Sheyi Oyedemi, for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, so this is very important. You first of all need to know the likely application period so that you can start targeting it, start preparing for it. If you need to get maybe money, if the place you are going to apply to will require application fee, so that you can start. If you don't have the money, you can start saving. If the program you want to apply to, if it will require higher ATS, you can start planning towards it. Or if it's a place that requires GRE, you can start planning towards it. So usually it starts between October and December in most cases. However, especially now, let me now talk about a little peculiarity about America. Most of the programs will open in October, November in America, and many of them will close by December. Most applications to schools and programs in America close by December. Most, not all, okay? However, some will extend to January, end of January. Some will, in some very few cases, extend until February, okay? But in most cases, usually in America, most applications are done between October, November, December, and sometimes January, with a few exceptions may extend into February, okay? So that is how it is. Many countries like Finland, for example, now also start their own application around November. Some schools in Finland may also start around October, November, December. So most of their applications are also done around the same period that is similar to what I talked about for America. So application period is usually, and some schools also in Finland will extend to January, February, and in few cases to the very first week of March. Few schools in Finland will also extend. But countries like Netherlands and Germany, okay, many times the application for some program may start in December and go all the way through the following year till March, April, May. In fact, in Germany, many times in some schools, the application will open in January and close in March. While in some schools, their own application will not open until April and close somewhere around July. Okay, so what I'm saying in essence is that some of these countries like Netherlands and Germany, the application extend well into the following year, the year when you want to start your program. So the application may extend well into March, April, June, July. In fact, I know in some schools in Germany, the application will even open by May. And you are going to resume by October. So their process is so fast. You apply by May, maybe by May ending or June, the application closes and they process the application sharp. They don't waste time. They give you the feedback. Then if you are admitted, you can start processing your visa to go to the country. So, but in America, you will hardly find an application open in May or in April. Very, very unlikely. So if you are planning to study in America, the right time to target is from October to December, and in few exceptions till January. Okay. If you are starting to look for schools and programs to apply for in America by January ending or February ending, it is already a little late. It is already a little late. You may be able to play around with that in some countries in Europe, like Netherlands and Germany. But you can, even in Finland, most applications will have closed by that time. So these are some of the little differences that are between these places where you can study. Okay, so what about application documents? What are the application documents that are required in most programs in America and most programs in Europe? Yes, this one is largely similar. Most schools, both in America and in Europe, require similar with little differences here and there, similar application document. Number one document they will require for you is that all schools will require your transcript of academic record, okay? They will require your transcript. In fact, for admission process, your transcript is much more important than your certificate. And I will tell you the reason why. Your certificate will just tell us that, oh, you have a bachelor's degree in accounting. But your certificate cannot tell us on your accounting program, how many courses did you take, how many units or how many credits, as may be called in different schools, did you obtain? At which of these credits what did you score? Did you perform very well or a little average or low or poor? Okay. And only this transcript can also give us the details of the courses that you took during your program. Okay, maybe for your accounting now, you want to see whether you did something related to economics, statistics, banking. Okay, it's only in your transcript that the university can see all those details. Your certificate cannot give all this. Your certificate will just say, this so is awarded this bachelor of so in accounting. Finish. So it doesn't give the universities you are applying to details about your academic background, your academic strength, the programs, the courses you have taken that prepare you ahead for maybe a master's program you're applying for. So one of the most important documents for application, especially when it comes to master's level, is your transcript of academic record. Okay, so your transcript is extremely important. Transcript of academic record. So at one point or the other, you will need it. Some program will say you should submit it alongside when you are applying. Some others will say, okay, after you get an admission, you can submit it. Maybe that you can submit a student copy. That means an unofficial copy while you are applying. So transcript is one of them. Some schools will also require your certificate. Most schools will also require a motivation letter, or some schools call it statement of purpose. Other schools call it personal statement. Almost all schools will require that, okay? For those who may not know that, what a statement of purpose or motivation letter is, you may check my YouTube channel. I already had a video that I made about tips on how to write an outstanding motivation letter. Just search on Google for Sami Akintayo. I talk extensively on how to write an outstanding motivation letter. I've had privilege or opportunity of writing several motivation letters myself, okay? Because most scholarship programs will also require you to write a motivation letter. And I've also helped several people review their motivation letter. So if you need to know more about motivation letter, kindly check my Google, my YouTube channel. Just search for Sami Akintayo on YouTube and you're going to see the video. Okay. So what about part of the application requirement? In America, it is common that majority of the school will be talking about you presenting a GRE score. A GRE is Graduate Record Examination. It is most commonly used as part of admission process for masters and PhD in America, in Canada, and Australia. These three countries are the countries that most often require GRE score from applicants. Okay, America, Canada, and Australia are the most common, the country that most commonly requests for graduate record exams. Okay. Yes, there are few exceptions in this country. There are programs that we say, okay, they don't care, they don't want, they don't require GRE. Okay, so if you are looking at studying in America, you may start also having at the back of your mind that you may, depending on the program and the school you're applying to, you may need to write GRE. However, most programs, most universities, like 99% of programs in Europe will never ask you for GRE. Okay. So if you don't want to write GRE and it's a major factor for you in considering where to study, okay, Europe may be an advantage in that because most programs, most schools in Europe will never ever ask you for GRE. In extreme, unusual situation, you may see one school here and there asking, one program here and there asking for GRE, but it is very, very uncommon. It is not common in Europe that schools will ask you for GRE. Does it mean the schools are less good? No. The schools in most schools in Europe are as good as schools in America. Some are even better than some schools in America. Yes, just like some schools in America are also better than some schools. So basically, the schools in Europe and the schools in America, most of them are world-class universities. They are very good universities. So the quality is not the issue. It's just what they believe should be the requirement for application. So if you are not looking into writing GRE, you may be looking more towards the direction of Europe over America. Okay. And what about IELTS and TOEFL? Okay. IELTS and TOEFL, for those who may not know them, they are English proficiency tests. TOEFL is more common in America, while IELTS is more common in Europe. Okay. So in most cases, schools want you to show that you understand English well enough to be able to follow the program in English language. So they want you to present a test, a result for English test, either IELTS or TOEFL. But most universities in America, while they will accept both of them, Americans generally tend more towards TOEFL, while European schools tend more towards IELTS. So if you want to study in America, it may be more advisable to consider maybe writing TOEFL if the school or the program you're applying to is requiring. If you are planning to study in Europe, it may be more advisable to be inclined more towards writing IELTS because IELTS is more common in Europe, while TOEFL is more common in America. Okay, so that is that about that. So what about scholarship availability in America and in Europe? Okay, this is a very, very important one. I need to say that generally in America, there are no generalized scholarship opportunity program that is generalized for everybody in America. It is not common. There are scholarships here and there. There may be a scholarship in one school here, scholarship in school here, that you may not even know they exist. Yeah, because there are not so many. There is no one central body that coordinates scholarship for international students in America. Maybe a centralized scholarship body kind of thing. No, that does not really exist in America. The only thing that is a little close to that is the Fulbright scholarship, which some countries are eligible to apply. Students from some countries are eligible to apply to each year. However, this is extremely competitive and only very few people are accepted each year. So for me, on a generalized kind of scholarship, I won't really rate Fulbright there, kind of. Okay. So in essence, for in my opinion, there is no one generalized scholarship platform opportunity that international students can apply to study in America. So the implication of that is that you probably will have to prepare to pay your fee to study in most cases in America. Or with the exception that if you are fortunate, you are able to get a student assistantship, either teaching assistantship or research assistantship. Okay, so this teaching assistantship and research assistantship, this is a common phenomenon in America. This does not really exist in Europe. Okay, in most countries in Europe, you won't hear anything like teaching assistantship or research assistantship, but this exists in America. And what is teaching assistantship or research assistantship? Teaching assistantship and research assistantship simply means that, okay, a professor has a fund, maybe he has a grant for his project, for his research, okay. And under this grant, usually there are funds that are provided to take students to work on the project. So allocation are usually made on grants, maybe for master students to be on that project or PhD students to be on that project. So if a professor or a department has a grant towards a particular research or a particular project, now they can now support some of their students, either master students or PhD students, as from that grant. Okay, so it will now be dependent on either the department has grant or that particular professor that will be your supervisor has grant to take you as a teaching assistant or research assistant. So in that case, if you are fortunate to get a professor in America university that want to accept you as a research assistant or a teaching assistant, what that translates to is that the university will cancel your tuition because you are working. It's like you are working for the university. You are working as a research assistant or a teaching assistant at the university. So it's like, in quotes, you are like a university staff. So you are a university staff indirectly through the professor or the program, and you are studying there. So they consider that, okay, if you are working for the university, you should not need to pay tuition. So in that case, they may cancel your tuition and ask you not to pay tuition. In few cases, they may cancel larger part of your tuition and ask you to pay small amount of money. Okay, so that will now hinge on you getting a student assistantship or a teaching assistantship or research assistantship. And in that case, you may have to be personally writing to professor to ask them if they will take you as their student. Okay, and it may be a long process sometimes. However, in Europe, most of the European countries have a centralized scholarship body. That is the main difference between, when it comes to scholarship, between Europe and America. For instance, in Germany, they have what they call the German Academic Exchange Service, DAAD. This is a centralized body that gives thousands and thousands of scholarships to international students every year to go to Germany to study. It has an application period. Usually it opens around July, August each year, and it's open for like 10 weeks, I think. Yeah, then you can apply to it. That scholarship exists for both masters and PhD studies. Okay. Similarly, Netherlands has a similar program. They have program that provides scholarship for students from the MENA region. Middle East and North Africa is the full meaning of MENA. Middle East and North Africa. They have centralized scholarship program that focus on students from that area. They also have scholarship that focus on students from developing countries. In Netherlands, they call it Orange Knowledge Program, OKP. Okay, so I have friends that have won this scholarship before, so I'm quite familiar with this scholarship. Both the DAAD in Germany and the OKP in Netherlands. So I have several friends that have won both of these scholarships before. So, but these scholarships are centralized. So it's not like you are going to search for it from school to school yourself. It is already a centralized body that is funded by the government of those countries, and they are funding it to, they are asking students from overseas to apply to them, and they give this scholarship every year. So this centralized kind of system, I know Belgium has something similar, but I am not sure if it is as extensive as what operates in DAAD in Germany and the OKP in Netherlands. I also know that, yes, I know Belgium has some scholarship level. Why currently Finland does not have a centralized, in quote, scholarship body that like DAAD in Germany or the OKP in Netherlands? However, the good thing about Netherlands is that almost all the universities in Netherlands have some scholarship that you can apply for automatically as you are applying for your admission. So I mean tuition scholarship, okay? So in some cases, you may be able to get up to 100% scholarship, 80% scholarship, or in some cases, 50% tuition scholarship. So in a way, even though it is the individual schools that are handling it, but virtually almost all the schools have some kind of scholarship program for international students. And why do they have that? Until like 4 years ago, education was completely free in Finland for both citizens and foreign students. But like 4 years ago, that changed for foreign students are now required to pay tuition. So in a bid to cushion the effect of the new law that asks them to pay for tuition, the universities introduced some scholarship program. Almost all the universities have that. Why the tuition, their own citizens still do not pay tuition. So when it comes to scholarship availability, it's on a wide scale, on large scale, you may be tilting towards Europe for that. Okay. So, what about working as a student? Okay, working as a student. Yes, yes, yes. Most people want to know this. That okay, if I'm studying in this place, will I be able to work? And it's a valid question. And the reason is simple. You want to be sure that you don't get stranded there. You don't want to be sure that you are not calling home begging for money. Please, I'm stranded there. Help me. Okay. You imagine somebody that is in the maybe Germany or in America having to be calling Nigeria or maybe whatever developing country they came from. Most of the time it doesn't look so except your parents are very rich. Okay. So most people want to know if they will be able to work while they are studying. Okay, yes. And it's very, very important. And in Europe and in America, will you be able to work while you are studying? And the answer is yes. Yes, yes, yes. You are allowed to work both in Europe and in America while as a student. Okay. So what happened in both cases is that while you are working as a student, you are allowed certain amount of time that you can work per week. Usually, from the most countries, we allow you to work like 40 hours in 20 hours in a week. Sorry, not 40 hours. 40 hours is the full time. That is 8 hours per day for 5 days. Okay, somebody that is working full time, that is not a student, normal person, the full working hour time is 40 hours per week. Okay, because you are a student, most countries will allow you to work about half of that, because they expect you to spend a good part of your time to study. Because since you came into the country for the purpose of studying, you didn't come and work. You didn't say you are coming to work. Didn't say you are coming to America to work. You said you are coming to study. So they expect you to spend a good part of your time studying, while they also understand that you need to earn your living. So most of the time, about 20 hours will be allowed for you to work in a week on the average in most countries. Some countries may allow 25 hours, but on the average, generally, most countries will allow you to work 20 hours in a week. That's like half time of someone that's working full time. And in most cases, if you have a job that you are working for 20 hours, that should be enough to take care of most of your needs. Your rent, your health insurance, your feeding, and then any other basic things that you need to cover. So both in Europe and in America, you are allowed to work as a student while you are studying. So working, no need to be afraid. Yes, working, most of the time you may have to do petty jobs, casual jobs while you are studying, because you probably don't have a qualification from that country, and it's maybe a little challenging to get a professional job or a white collar job, since you don't have qualification in that country yet. But in some cases, you may be fortunate. You may be able to get maybe a student job in an office. It depends. It depends on what you are fortunate to get. So, but the baseline is that both in America and Europe, mostly you will be allowed to work as a student. Okay, so that is that. I'm going to now talk about accompanying family member. This is also a very important thing, because especially for those who are married or those who are planning to get married very, very soon. You want to know if your family member will be able to accompany you when you are going to study. In principle, I said in principle, okay, in principle sometimes may be different from what obtained in the whole process. In principle, both in America and in Europe, your spouses and your family members are allowed to follow you to study, to accompany you. However, this will now depend on meeting maybe some certain requirement, which the most prominent of which is finance. Do you have enough fund to support the family member that want to accompany you? Okay, I know Germany, Netherlands, Finland, Belgium, all these countries will not say, and America will not say your family member cannot come. Okay, in principle, they say if you are studying, if you are married, your wife can come, your kids can come and join you. But before they allow them, or before they will give them visa to join you, usually they will want you to show that you have resources to support them. Okay, they don't want a situation that your family come in and now you cannot support them. They become a problem to the system, or you and your family become a problem to the system. So in principle, both in America and Europe, your family are allowed to accompany you to study either in Europe or in America. Okay, so but in most cases, in most of these countries, they want you to show them that you have a fund to support your family member while they are with you. Now, having said that, I will now talk about the little differences that may now be there if your family member accompany you to Europe or accompany you to America. So, let's assume, for instance, now one person is studying in America and another person is studying in Europe, and both of them are married with kids. Okay, and now they have applied for visa, they met requirement, and their family member have joined them. Okay, so what is now applicable to them, the family members now, in America or in Europe? Okay, so this is where the good significant difference is. In America, if you are studying and your wife or your husband accompany you, your husband or your wife will not be allowed to work. Your husband or your wife that accompany you to America to study will not be allowed to work, because the visa that will be given to that person is called a dependent visa. That means the person is dependent on you and does not come with a work permit. So if you are going to study in America now, you get admission to America and your spouse is going with you, your spouse can go there, but your spouse cannot work legally. No. Your wife or your husband that is accompanying you is not allowed to work in America while you are studying. So that means you that you are studying are also working part-time. You are the one, except you have source funding somewhere else or scholarship, you are the only one that is allowed to work legally. Okay. That is allowed to work legally. Okay. So your spouse will not be allowed to work legally, except the person is working illegally or under the table or known to authority. Okay. In Europe, in most cases, the case is different. The case is different. In most countries in Europe, if your spouse accompany you, your spouse will also be allowed to work. That is a difference, and that may be a big difference. Let me give Germany, for instance. Okay, if you are studying in Germany, let's say as a man, you get admission, you are studying for your master's. While you are studying, you are only allowed to work 20 hours in a week, which is 120 days in a year. Okay, but let's now assume that your wife accompany you to Germany to study. Okay, so but your wife is not studying, your wife just accompany you as a spouse. The interesting thing in Germany is that your wife will now be allowed to work full-time. You that you are studying is not even allowed to work full-time. So your wife can work full-time, 40 hours in a week, while you can only work 20 hours in a week. Okay. So in most cases in Europe, your accompanying spouse is allowed to work and may even be allowed to work more than you. But the case is different in America. In America, when you are studying, if your spouse, your husband or your wife accompany you, they cannot work legally because the visa they will be given will not permit them to work. But in Europe, in most cases, they will be permitted to work. And I know more specifically in Germany, your spouse is even allowed to work full-time, while you are allowed only to work part-time as a student. So those are some of the things people may need to consider to know which place they prefer in studying. Okay, accompanying family member, that's very important about that. So that also has to do with visa application. The kind of visa they are given is different. In America, dependent visa, while in Europe, most of the time the spouse is allowed to work as an independent person, though you must still be associated with you, but it's allowed to work full-time to earn money. So in that case, maybe the husband is studying or the wife is studying, the partner can be working, maybe if you get a full-time job or working long hours to make more money to support the family. So depending on. And now, let me also say this. In most cases, not in all cases, in some countries in Europe, if you have kids that follow you, even though you're a foreigner, the government will be paying you child support for your children. Child support for your children, which I don't think is applicable in America, okay? That means even though you're a foreigner, the government will still be giving you money monthly basis on each child that you have to support you. Monthly payment, monthly. Not in all European countries, but some European countries do that. I know Germany do that. If you have 3 children, they will be paying you on each of the children monthly. Okay, so and that could be an advantage to that. So towards the cost of living. And the good thing is that In almost most European countries, education is also free for the children also. So your children will also be going to school free of charge while they are studying there. Okay. So that is that. When it comes to language issue, okay, people have a lot of concern about language when going to study in Europe, especially people from Africa, from Nigeria, that our official language is English language. So people usually have concern about countries like Germany, Netherlands, and Finland, and the rest of them, okay, about the language of study. But this is the truth. Most of these countries, most of their programs, especially from master's degree upward, are taught in English language. They are taught in English. Of course, I don't need to say much about America. America is an English-speaking country, so we already know all the programs are taught in English in America. Okay, so there is no problem about that when it comes to America. But in Europe, unknown to many people, Germany, Netherlands, Finland, many of those countries, Austria, Luxembourg, many of these countries, you will be taught in English, even though their own language, their official language, is not English. But most of their program, especially at master's level upward, they are taught in English language because they are also taking in several international students every year. So if programs are not taught in English language, how will international students come into their system to be part of their educational system? So they also know this. So language, when it comes to Europe, there are majority of programs from master's level upward are taught in English language. So if anybody is having concern about language, it may not be as big as you think. So the only thing is that, let's say for Germany or for Finland now, they will be speaking their language in normal day activities. But when you get to the university where you are studying for a master's program, you will most likely be taught in English language. And these things will be explicitly written on their website, that this program is taught in English language. So there may not be any problem about that. Okay, so let's talk about staying back and working after your program. That's another aspect that people have concern about. Okay, if I go to America, if I go to Germany, go to Netherlands, go to this place to study, we all be allowed to work after I finish study? And it's a valid question because the truth, like I said earlier, is that studying itself, in most cases for most people, is a means to an end. It's not an end in itself. People are actually trying to go and study in these countries, especially most people from developing countries, as a means to ultimately work in that country and live in that country or get permanent residency in that country, or in some cases even achieve citizenship in that country. Okay, so it's a valid question to first find out, okay, the place I'm going to study, will I be allowed to stay back and work after my studies? Okay, so what are the difference between staying back to work in America and staying back to work in most of these European countries after your study? Okay, first of all, let me start with America. In America, after your study, in most cases, you will be allowed 2 to 3 years to stay back after your studies, depending on the program you study or you were in. You will be allowed to stay back 2 to 3 years. Okay, so that 2 to 3 years, they expect that, okay, you have studied in that country, you need to gain industry experience. Okay, so you apply for job to work in a company, in an office, for 1 year, for 2 years, or for 3 years in some cases. Okay, in most cases between 2 and 3 years for most programs. Okay, now what happened after that? Usually, before you to stay and work in America indefinitely, you will need a company to apply for the immigrant visa, for the visa for you to work in America. Okay, but however, the challenge that sometimes is there is that most companies, most organizations don't want to go through that stress. Okay, they don't want, because the process can be tedious and long. They don't want to go through the process of, they call it filing for you. So a company will need to file for you to be able to stay there after your study, to keep working with them in maybe indefinitely or for a long period of time. So the company will need to file for you so that you can get a document, the authorization, the paper that you need to stay and to work after you're studying. So the problem is that most companies don't want to do that because the process is rigorous, and sometimes they need to justify why they need to hire a foreigner, why they can't find someone else. Okay, so they sometimes don't want to go through the stress and the demand of applying for people to stay and work with them. Okay, but you can't do it by yourself. You can't go after your study and say, oh, I finished study, I want to apply for paper to stay indefinitely in America. No, it doesn't work that way. So you will need to get a job, and that job will need to be willing to file for you, to apply for you. That, okay, we have employed this person, we are filing for this person, give this person the document to keep staying and to keep working, is working with us. The problem is that many of the companies may not want to do that. The situation is significantly different in Europe, okay? In most cases in Europe, the company is not required to come and fight for you or to come and apply for you for residency or to permanent residency or long-term residency. In most cases, they are not required. I can see my sister Uyoyo. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you. Long time. Okay. So in most cases, you are not required to. Let me give Germany as an example again. Okay. In Germany, the companies are not required to come and apply for you for residence permits to work with them. All you need to do is that if you get a job with the company, you simply go and apply by yourself. You just take your employment letter or employment offer and other documents they require, and you simply walk into their office, to their foreigners office, and then apply for residence permit. And they give you residence permit, and with that, you can keep staying for as long as you are working, you have a source of income, a job to keep working there. So these are some of the significant. So in that aspect, it is a whole lot easier, a whole multiple times easier in Europe to get long-time stay to work after your study than it is in America. A whole lot easier. If you get a job, you don't need that company to help you to apply for the visa or for residence permit for you to stay a long time. In most cases, you can simply get the documents you need and go and do the application yourself. And that's all. So it's remove the hesitancy of companies or organizations not wanting to go through the stress of applying to immigration on behalf of a worker if they think, oh, they can find someone else that will not put them through that stress. But in this case, in Europe, because the stress is not on the company, immediately you get a job with them, it's your responsibility to take the document, your job appointment letter or contract, they call it contract mostly, your job contract, and take it to wherever you need to get your residence permit. And usually when they see that contract, they won't likely turn you down. They will give you the residence permits you need. It's, in most cases, as straightforward as that, okay? So in that aspect, it's a whole lot easier to stay back to work on long-term basis in most European countries than it is in America. In America, it can be a little tricky. That's why sometimes you see somebody that studied in America long time after, they are still finding ways to stay back here and there, okay? So except if you are working in IT, the chances may be a little better. In America, maybe a company may be willing to fight for you or some highly needed skill, okay? So those are some of the differences there. Staying back. Citizenship, okay? Staying back, getting a residence permit, long-term residence permit, and citizenship are kind of connected, okay? In most countries in Europe, if you finish studying and you get a job and you are working there, they allow you to stay indefinitely. And after staying in most countries in Europe, after staying for like 6 to 7 or 8 years, you will be eligible for citizenship. In most countries in Europe, you will be eligible for citizenship. It's a whole lot more challenging to achieve citizenship in America. Okay, even if you get a company, first of all, it's challenging to get company to file for you. It's not impossible, but it's a little challenging to get companies to file for you to have a document to stay on a long-term basis. Not to okay, after you now get that, you can now start counting your time towards achieving citizenship, okay? But in Europe, because if you get a job, you can simply walk into the office the office that is responsible in most cases in most countries and apply for your residence permit. And as you are working, as you are there, your time starts counting. After staying for like on the average of 6 to 8 years in that country, you will be eligible for applying for citizenship of that country. And before you know it, you probably have the citizenship of the country. So those are some of the differences that exist between some of these countries. I don't know if you have questions. You can drop some question. I can pause here and then catch my breath. I've spoken about most of the things that are on my list anyway. So if you have questions about these countries, about the things I've been speaking about, you can drop a comment. Then I can read and respond to the question. I can read and respond to the question. So for those who have been watching me for some time, you also be aware that I run a study abroad agency organization that help people find programs to study abroad. So if you are interested in studying abroad and you don't know how to get the program yourself and you want to engage an agency, our agents can also help you in this. We can help you find the program that you can apply for and then guide you on the application process and then guide you on the visa application process, the application for the admission itself, put you through what you need to do, and of course that service is at a small fee. Okay, so if you really, for instance, if you are looking to study tuition free in Germany, we can definitely help you in that area. We can find you the program that you need to apply for that is tuition free, that you won't need to pay tuition at all on it. So you can contact me, send me a private message, you can chat me if you have any question in this area. If you need us to help you find a program to apply for in Germany or other countries, send me a DM, or if you have my WhatsApp number, you can contact me on WhatsApp. Then I can tell you about the process, and then we can find you a program there, and we'll tell you what fee you need to pay for the service. And but if anybody is looking to study tuition free, you can contact me. Yeah, we can help you to find the program just at a little fee. Okay. So Taiwo Sean, thank you for this explicit session. Are there age restriction to apply for masters? Are they particular about class of degree? Oh, very good question. Very good question. Age restriction? No explicit age restriction in applying for master. Okay. Yes, in America and in Europe, there are no explicit age restriction. I know people that are in their 30s, they are close to 35, or even climbing above 35, more than 35, that are studying for masters in Europe. So its age limit is not a major factor when it comes to admission, either in Europe or in America. It is not a major factor. It's their primary consideration is not age. I'm very sure about that. Their primary consideration is your record, your transcript of record, and your motivation letter, and also your recommendation letter. Those documents are the most important, and not really your age when it comes to. I don't think anybody should have any concern about age when it comes to applying for admission in Europe or in America. Age is not a major factor. It's not, they don't look like, okay, you are too old. They would rather pick somebody that is older and have convinced them more about excelling on that program than someone that is younger that has not convinced them. Yeah, so I've interacted with them. I've also worked with them, these people. So I understand this. So age is not a primary factor when it comes to studying admission. So age is not a primary factor. Okay, the second question is that are they particular about class of degree? This is a good question because I've heard sometimes people say, I have 2-2, I don't think I can get admission abroad. That's a lie. You can get admission abroad with 2. Very, very. You can, in fact, in a number of cases, you can even get scholarship with 2-2. You can get admission abroad with 2-2. You can get scholarship with 2-2 in some cases. Does it mean academic record, your performance in your previous program does not matter? No, I'm not saying that. Okay. What I'm saying in essence is that don't jump ahead and disqualify yourself and think because you had a 2-2 you can't be accepted. I know people in Europe, in America that studied on scholarship and they had 2-2. Okay. And I know people with 2-1 that have not been able to, with first class that have not been able to get into any program. Not because they can't get in, maybe because they didn't put the application or they didn't put the effort to apply. Okay. So it doesn't mean a first class will never be a disadvantage in an academic program. But what I'm saying in essence is that having a 2-2 is not a primarily disqualifying project. I know several people studying in Germany, studying in America, studying in Netherlands that graduated in their first degree with a second class lower division. Okay. Yes, I know people with first class too in this country. So what I'm saying in essence is that, as far as studying in this country, if you have 2-2, you still have a very, very good chance. All you just need to do in your application is convince the selection committee that you are the right candidate for that program. You are a right candidate for the program. You need to convince them. You need to show substance in your application. Yeah, because I've seen situation that it's possible that somebody that has first class is not selected, while someone that has a 2-1 is selected over first class. And it's also possible in some cases that somebody that has a 2-2 will be selected ahead of somebody that has a 2-1. Because now I've had privilege of reviewing international application programs several times. I help review and assess and recommend people for selection or rejection. And you can see sometimes that somebody that has a first class in his record is writing Jack Robinson in his application. And someone that has 2-2 is blowing your mind in his application. So sometimes it's not just the class of degree, it's what you have shown, the substance you have shown in your application document, especially when it has to do with your motivation letter and your recommendation letter. Now, that is where your motivation letter comes in. Let me give, for instance, if somebody has a 2-2, a second class lower division, and is competing against someone that has a 2-1, and is someone that has first class for the same spot in an admission program or a scholarship program, there is one way you can beat them. You can beat someone that has a first class. And how do you beat someone that has a first class? It is in your motivation letter. You can write a motivation letter that tells the person that is reviewing that this guy knows what he's talking about. And they can put out your motivation. Your motivation letter is simply telling yourself to them why you are the right candidate, you are the best candidate for that program. And they want to see what you are telling them, what you are bringing to the program. They want to see the way you think. They want to see your long-term plan. They want to see the substance and the value you are going to add to the program. And if you come with all this information loaded and authentic information, not something you are copying on the internet and put, and somebody sits down and read, wow, this is a very good candidate. They probably want to see the way you are thinking, what your plan look like. And with a very solid motivation letter or statement of purpose, someone that has 2-2 can be selected ahead of someone that has 2-1. It does happen. But one way you can beat that system, that you can force yourself in ahead of people that even have better class of degree than you, is in your area of motivation letter, or as it's called in some places, statement of purpose or personal statement. So that's why I always say your motivation letter is one of the most important documents in your application document, because that is the only thing you have full control over, that you can influence among the documents you will submit. Your transcript of academic record is already there. You can't change what you scored in. Well, if you had the A in a course when you are on your undergraduate, you can't change it when you are applying for admission now. You can't change a course that you had C to A. You can't change a course where you have B to A. But they are already there, so you can't change anything about your transcript of academic. But there is something you can do and everything about. It's your motivation letter. And that's the only one you strongly have control over. You can put effort into writing a sound and convincing motivation letter. And that when someone reads it will be difficult to reject you. So that is the goal. Writing a motivation letter that when reviewers or selection committee read it, it will be difficult to say no to you. That's the goal of your motivation letter. You want to write a motivation letter that among all applications, it stands out like this. Other ones are somewhere here, but your own significantly stand out. And that's the way to beat it, because most other things you don't have influence over them. Yes, in fact, I know some programs, some schools that they will score your motivation letter. Yes, they will score it. So they will now rank it. They will give scores to your motivation letter and your recommendation letter. So how well you write it will determine your chance of getting into the program. So after that, your motivation letter, the second most important that you have influence over, or indirect influence this time around, is your recommendation letter. Okay. Don't let anybody write a recommendation letter that they are written for somebody and just copy and paste for you, sign and give to you. It won't do you much good. Generic recommendation letters from your former professor, former lecturer will not do you much good. Let anyone that is writing a recommendation letter for your admission or for your scholarship application write specifically about your strength, about your quality. Specific quality. Not just say he's a good person, he's obedient, he's loyal. That is too general. It's not telling us any specific thing about you. There are so many loyal people out there that may not succeed on the program. So anyone that is writing recommendation letter for you, if you can, please tell them to write specific qualities about you that will be relevant for the program you are applying for. That will be relevant. They can write about your analytical skill, specific quality about your analytical skill, specific quality about your thinking capability, specific quality about your problem solving ability, specific quality about your coordination. They can also sometimes write about your emotional stability. Yeah, but they should not use copy and write what everybody is writing. They need to speak specifically about your quality. Your motivation letter and your recommendation letter are the things that you have influence over in your application process, and they can be the difference between you being selected and being rejected. Let me also tell you why your recommendation letter is very important. For most of the people in Nigeria, you probably may not know the reason is this, because sometimes you just meet a professor and ask them to write a recommendation letter, and funny enough, sometimes someone will say, oh, go and write what you want me to write for you, and I'll bring it, I will sign, okay. So sometimes we don't really know the strength of a recommendation letter. In the Western country, in the Western system, when someone writes a recommendation letter for you, it means I'm telling you what I know about this person, and you can take it to bank. So when a reviewer or a reviewing committee, a selection committee they are reading recommendation letter, they want to hear what your former lecturers, your former professor have to say about your ability. Because they believe what they say, we can take it to bank. We can bank on. These people know you in person. We don't know you yet, but we want someone that knows you, that have taught you, that have interacted with you, to tell us about you. So what is written in your recommendation letter is like what I know, what I can boast about, what I can beat my chest about for these people, for this person. Even though in many African countries, in Nigeria, which I'm familiar with, sometimes we don't take these things seriously. But the person you are sending it to takes it serious. So if you write your recommendation letter anyhow, even with maybe, let's say, error-laden recommendation letter, immediately they open it throw them off, no, this is something else, okay. So when getting recommendation letter, either from professor, former lecturer, or anyone that is writing recommendation letter for you, make sure they write quality thing. They speak specifically to your qualities that are relevant to the program that you are applying for. And like it happens sometimes in Nigeria, if they ask you to go and write and bring it, go on the internet, research right qualities that you need to put in it. Don't just write anything. You need to. Recommendation letter is, your motivation letter is sell yourself to us. Recommendation letter is your professor or your recommender selling you or deselling you to the selection committee. So I know programs that score motivation letter and recommendation letters. I know programs that score them. They will sit down and be awarding mark to you. They will now rank all of you, all the candidates, what you score. So if your score is so low, then you are not likely to get into the program. I hope you get that. So I don't know if if you have other questions, please kindly drop them so that we can apply to them. Yusuf Rilwan Oladele also is saying, is there any age limit to this application? No, I've said that there are no explicit age limit to application. Your age is not a primary factor. If you have other questions, please kindly drop them, because I really want everybody to benefit, to have their questions specifically addressed. If you have specific question, please feel free to drop the question. Please feel free to ask the question so I can speak specifically to the question that you have. Now, while I'm waiting for question, let me also say something that just come to my mind. For people that try to travel at all costs, just find every small opportunity, every little thing to go and apply for visa. Let me suggest that to be careful about that, because eventually when you have a legitimate, let's say for instance now, I know people that have gone to American embassy to apply for visa like 4 or 5 times and they have been rejected. Maybe they went one day and say, I want to go for my auntie's birthday. They use it as a reason to apply. And when they get there, they interview them. It didn't sound convincing. They are rejected. 1 year after, they came back with another reason. I want to do this. They rejected. And not long after, they come up for another reason. Maybe eventually they now decide, okay, they want to go and study in America. And they now have admission. and they are now applying for visa. Now, that will possibly, the past record will likely work against them. Because when the consular officers, immediately you present your document, your passport, or if you have applied 10 times, everything will apply in front of the consular officer. He knows you have applied 10 times, you have given 10 different reasons for applying. So what that tells him is that this is for every way to run away. Okay, so if you don't have very genuine reason to apply yet, don't rush to apply for visa on just any casual reason. Because if you are being rejected, the day you have genuine opportunity to go and apply for visa, the chances of scaling that application becomes a lot difficult. Yeah. I have never gone to any embassy just to apply for casually apply for visa. And I have never, of course, to God be the glory, I've never been rejected visa. I've been to several embassies. I've been to some embassies several times. I've never been rejected visa because I only go there when I have a very, very solid reason, very solid program. Maybe I have a scholarship. So you need to tell me why you don't want to issue me visa for the scholarship. Yeah, it does happen sometimes. Yes, it does happen to some people sometimes. Okay, but what I'm simply saying in essence is that sometimes people block their chance. A friend was telling me recently about a dear colleague that has similar challenge of giving some wrong information in the previous time, applying for visa. Now this person has a very, very big opportunity now. Very, very big opportunity of a fully funded PhD program somewhere in America. But now previous visa record has become a big challenge. So these are issues that you don't want to face because eventually if you have a very big opportunity, you don't want the tiny casual application for visa to come and block the opportunity you have. So I hope the person find a way around because it's a very big opportunity. I also won't want the person to miss the opportunity. So this is just to chip it in so that people don't use little flimsy reason to apply for visa to block genuine opportunity in the future. Okay, I think Taiwo Shun asked another question. Thank you for clarifying the question. Can one have an idea of cost implication if you want to travel back with your family? I mean, proof of okay. Cost implication it differs from countries to country. Okay, in America there is something they call from high 20. Okay, when after getting your admission, the university will ask you to send them a proof of fund, usually a statement of account that have enough fund to cover your tuition and to significantly cover your living expenses. Okay, most of the time they will calculate what you are required to have, minimum of what you are required to have. I'm talking about American university now. So let's say you apply to the University of let's say you apply to Harvard and Harvard has given you admission to come and study masters in Harvard. Okay, so while you are processing, after the admission, they send you admission letter, there is something called Form I-20 that you need to fill to take along with you as part of your visa application process to the embassy. Okay, and it is the school that will send you the form. Okay, but before the school can send you the form, you need to show them that you have enough fund to take care of. So the school usually, in most cases, will calculate the amount you need for yourself. But if you indicate to the school that you are also coming with your partner and or your children, they will also calculate the money you need to support them alongside, add it to the money you need to provide as proof of fund. So when you now provide that amount, sufficient fund in your statement of account, and they see that it's sufficient, can cover you, they will now provide you that Form I-20 that you fill and take along with other documents to the embassy when you apply. So it is the university that will calculate and decide that for you. Okay, so in Europe too, you need to provide proof of fund. You need to provide proof of fund in Europe also. In some countries, they will require you to provide statement of account similar to what you are providing in America. Some other countries in Europe will say it should be, the account should be in your name. The statement of account you are presenting. In America, you can present, okay, let's say that this uncle is my sponsor, so I'm submitting the statement of account of my uncle. Some countries in Europe will say, no, we don't really like that. We want you to give us a statement that bears your name, that shows that this money is in your name, or somebody closely related to you that maybe possibly bear the same name as you do. So that's how it works in most places in Europe. However, countries like Germany also have something that they call blocked account. They ask you that to show proof of fund in their own case, they want you to open an account and deposit certain amount of money. I think in Europe, in Germany, it's around 10,000 euro. Deposit that money in that account. It's your money. It's not for the school. It's for they will calculate it as your living expenses for 1 year. They ask you to deposit that money in that bank account. So when you get to Germany to study, it is that money that you will be taking from to take care of to pay your bills, to take care of your needs for the first 1 year. Okay, you are allowed to work at the same time anyway. Okay, so they do that just to be sure that you don't become a problem to the system. Okay, so Germany operates something they call a blocked account. They ask you to open a German account, deposit certain amount of money, around 10,000 euro for someone that's coming to study. It is the calculated amount they expect you that will cover your expenses for 1 year of living in Germany. So that is what they do about that. Also in Germany, they also have another alternative that you can do. If you have someone that is working in Germany that has a meaningful salary, the person can issue you a statement, a letter that really mean in the layman's term means a sponsorship letter. That the person is saying, okay, I'm your sponsor, I give you this letter. So you can take that letter to the embassy and say, okay, I have this letter, a sponsorship letter from someone that is working in Germany. Only someone that is working in Germany can issue that to you to show as proof of fund. So in that case, you don't need to show any statement of account or anything. It's that letter that you present to the embassy as part of your document for them to issue you visa. And most of the case time, you can use that document for maybe 3, 4, 5 years. So as showing, it doesn't mean the person will be giving you money. The person just give you the statement of accounts to be able to help you scale through the process. Okay, give you the letter to scale the process. When you get there, you can work and earn your living by yourself. So, but if anything happen, maybe you are supposed to pay a bill, you refuse, you fail to pay it, they will contact the person because the person invariably said he will be your sponsor. So, in principle, they are assuming is the one sponsoring you, giving you the money. Why in reality we know it's not giving you the money. So, but if you now default on your payment, maybe you need to pay your health insurance, you need to pay your landlord, you fail to pay your landlord when it's due, and they couldn't charge your account because there's no money in your account. So they will contact the person that writes the letter for you. This person that you said you are the sponsor is owing this money. Oh yeah, come and pay. Okay, so that's the only other thing there. So a letter of sponsorship can serve in that regard. I know that is also applicable in Belgium. You can also use a letter of sponsorship if you don't have enough money to show as proof of fund. Somebody working in Belgium can also give you a letter, and I think it's applicable in most other European country. I hope I answered that question. So for family, so someone that is going alone, the money that you'll be required to show as proof of fund will be smaller to someone that want to go with family. So because you have extra expenses for each family member that is going with you. So the higher the number of people that are going with you, the higher the proof of fund that you will need to show. But it differs from country to country. Okay. So if any other person have any question, please kindly drop the question. So like I said earlier, if anybody is looking for a tuition-free program to study in Germany and maybe also other European country, you can contact me privately, and then we can know your area of interest, and then my agency can help you find programs that you can apply for that you probably will not pay any tuition on it or pay very small amount of money in it, so that will be very convenient, and in countries, of course, that you can work at the same time. But of course, this service is at its fee. You pay a small amount of money for us to provide this service to you. Okay. Does any other person have any question? Veronica, thank you for joining. My brother Olamide, thank you for joining. Mr. Joseph Akinlaja, thank you for joining. Taiwo Shion, thank you for your question. Joju Badru, thank you. Tayo Wulabi, thank you. Gloria, thank you. Oredex Abi, thank you. Fiki Aderonke, thank you for joining. Kode Oluwafemi, thank you for joining and watching. Yusuf Rewan, thank you for joining. Please, if you have questions, still drop them. I can answer 1 or 2 questions before we round up this session. Next week, Sunday, in the evening of next week, Sunday, we are going to have another session, or you will see the notification on my Facebook page during the week, what I will be talking about on Facebook Live next week, so that the primary goal is that information is powerful. There are so many information out there that if you don't know that this information are there, you may not be able to take advantage of them. So the primary goal is to give this information out so that people can benefit from it. Like I've said over and over before, there are hundreds of thousands of scholarships out there every year that people don't even know exist, not to talk of benefit from them. So the first step towards benefiting from opportunity, international opportunities, to even have information about them, to be aware they exist. And then, who knows, maybe just one step, taking the right steps, you may just be the person they have been waiting for. You may just be the right candidate for the program. You may just be the fortunate person that will get it. Femi Akanfe, thank you for stopping by again. Thank you. I think Femi Akanfe is watching from US. Thank you. I see some people watching from UK, from Netherlands, from Nigeria. Thank you, everyone, for standing. Mr. Olamide, Pastor Olamide, thank you for your comment. I really appreciate it. Next, like I was saying, next Sunday I will be live on Facebook again to also talk about other aspects. You will see notification on my Facebook page during the week or towards the end of the week. Those of you that have me on WhatsApp, you will also see information on my WhatsApp status. If you need me on our agency to help you find a program that is cheap or tuition free to study in Europe or any other part of the world, you can contact me privately, and then we can set it up and help you find a program to apply for. This service, that particular service, because it's a personalized service, attract a little fee just to support to carry out the service for you. So I appreciate everyone for stopping by today. Thank you. If there are no more questions, I appreciate you once again. I really appreciate the support. Please don't forget, there are so many resources on my YouTube channel. Just search for Sami Akintayo on YouTube. You will see so many resources, so many videos I've made on how to get scholarship in different countries around the world, how to get admission without IELTS or writing TOEFL, how to write an outstanding motivation letter. Like I've said before, that's one of the most important things to write. There are also opportunities for people that are working. Maybe you are looking for short scholarship to study, to just go for like 3 months course, 6 months course, 2 weeks course, 3 weeks course. There are countries that give scholarship for working class people this way. And for those who are looking for PhD, one of these days I'm going to maybe one of these live show, I will also talk about how to get PhD opportunity. Yes, because it's very important. I will also talk one of these days how to write to professors to get response from them, because sometimes this is the challenge that people have. They want to contact the professor for an opportunity, but they don't know the way they are writing, the way you are contacting them. You won't they may not get response. But there is a way you can approach your writing and that you get response. Okay, I remember I was speaking with a foreign professor one day, and I was talking about, and he was telling me about how he received more than 100 emails from students all over the world every day. Okay, now he needs to decide. He can't waste all his time reading all emails. Okay, so immediately he opens some of this email and find out that you are just not specific. You are just saying, I like your program and the rest, and not telling him something significant, something very meaningful. He quickly move on to something else. So you also need, if you are writing to professors, to reach out to them to accept you either as a master's student or as a PhD student. There is also a way to write that increase your chances of getting a positive response or being accepted by the professor. So one of these days I'm going to do a video on that. And one of these days I'm also going to talk about how to write an outstanding motivation letter. That it's for me, that is the only thing you have 100% control over in the application process. Yeah. If you can know how to write a killer motivation letter, you have significantly improve your chances of being accepted to programs or winning scholarships. If you ask most people that have won scholarships, their motivation letter is key. I have friends on this program that are watching now that have won scholarships here and there. I can see my sister's Blessing Ngozi watching. Thank you for joining. So Titi Lopez, thank you for joining. So one of these days I'm going to talk about how to write an outstanding motivation letter, because it's key. If you need to get scholarship, you need to get admission, you need to know how to write a good motivation letter. And I've reviewed several motivation letters for both an African student and foreign student. I've reviewed, so I can give you some relevant tip that will be very helpful about that. So once again, I appreciate everyone for stopping by. Thank you for always watching, for supporting. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel too. When you go to my YouTube channel, search for Sami Aketayo on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel, switch on your notification so that anytime I drop a new video on my YouTube channel, you'll be notified. And I appreciate it. I wish you the best. God bless you. Happy Easter to everyone once again. And enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye and thank you.